I told you to sit down." The roar sliced through the buzzing chaos of the Los Angeles courthouse like a blade. Gasps and murmurs fizzled into silence as every head turned toward the commotion near courtroom 4B. Agent Samuel Morrison, tall and thick-shouldered in his Department of Homeland Security uniform, stood with one hand still suspended in the air, fingers curled, knuckles red. Opposite him, an elderly black man staggered back, blood blooming from a split in his lip like red ink on parchment. I was just looking for my pro bono attorney," the man stammered. "You people never learn to follow instructions," Morrison hissed, leaning in close enough for only nearby ears to catch the venom behind the words. Across the room, seated in the third row, Agent Adrien Jenkins froze. His suit was crisp, his demeanor calm, but inside his blood had gone cold. The man being struck was not just any civilian. That was his father, Theodore Jenkins, 71, a retired welder who had survived decades of systemic neglect, was now bleeding in a public courthouse for the simple crime of not moving fast enough for the wrong man in uniform. Adrien didn't blink. His training kicked in. Observe. Document. Record. He discreetly activated the voice memo app on his phone, noted timestamps, locations, angles, exits. His jaw clenched with a tension that only grew tighter as he saw other officers quietly turn away. Not one step forward. Later, in the antiseptic white of Memorial General's ER, Adrien took photos of his father's injuries with professional precision. Broken skin, minor swelling, internal bruising. Evidence, not emotion. "Dad," Adrien asked lowly, "has this happened before?" Theodore hesitated, eyes weary. "That man's harassed me at least 3 times. Called me a mutt, boy. Even asked if I snuck into court through the janitor's closet." Adrien exhaled through his nose. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" "To who, son?" Theodore chuckled dryly. "His own people? Every time I opened my mouth, I got looked at like I was the one out of line." Adrien leaned forward, voice firm but soft. "Dad, listen to me. I'm a federal agent. I work for the Civil Rights Division." Theodore blinked. "What happened today wasn't just assault. It's a federal crime," Adrien said. "And I'm going after him. Not just for you, but for anyone else he's hurt." His father, quiet for a long moment, finally gave a single nod. 2 days later, in a secure room at the San Francisco FBI field office, Adrien stood before his supervisor, James Peterson. Theodore's medical files lay on the desk between them. "Clear civil rights violation," Peterson said, tapping the photos. "You sure you're ready for this?" "I need to be," Adrien replied. "Morrison's not just a brute. He's a repeat offender. I check his file." Peterson raised an eyebrow. "And 23 formal complaints in 18 years. All dismissed." Peterson sat back, silent. Adrien continued, voice growing colder. "And every complainant? A minority. Hispanic, black, Asian. Every single one." Peterson frowned. "How were they dismissed?" "Each one was investigated internally by the same officer, Captain David Fuller. Each file closed within 2 weeks. Every time." Peterson whistled low. "That's not just incompetence. That smells like protection." Adrien nodded. "I need a name. Someone who tried to go after Morrison before. Someone who got shut down." That name came 3 days later. Maria Sanchez, a former internal affairs officer who took early retirement after what she called a professional ambush. Adrien found her living in a 1-bedroom apartment in San Bernardino, curtains always closed. She opened the door only halfway. "I know why you're here," she whispered. "Then you know it's not over," Adrien said. "He struck my father." She swallowed. "They'll come for me. Not if we expose them first." Maria invited him in. Her hands trembled as she unlocked an old laptop. A grainy audio recording crackled to life. "I broke 3 of that animal's ribs," Morrison's voice drawled, laced with sickening pride. "These people need to remember who's in charge." Adrien stiffened. "Why didn't you bring this forward?" "I tried," Maria whispered. "Captain Fuller shut me down. Threatened my pension. Judge Sterling's clerk wouldn't even accept my complaint." Adrien's eyes narrowed. "Sterling?" Maria nodded. "He signs off on every dismissed case tied to Morrison. Fuller buries it. Sterling closes the door." Adrien leaned back, mind racing. He was no longer looking at a rogue agent. He was staring into the roots of a machine, a system built to protect the abuser and silence the abused. He stood. Maria, I need your testimony. With this tape, you can help break this wide open. Maria looked at him, eyes filled with fear and something else, resolve. He's a monster, and he's not alone. I'll testify. Adrien's phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered. Silence, then a voice. Cold, calculated, familiar. You're digging too deep, Agent Jenkins. Stop, or we'll bury you where your father stood. Adrien's hand froze mid-air. Who is this? He demanded. Click, dead air. And just like that, the real hunt had begun. Adrien Jenkins listened carefully, headphones clamped over his ears as the FBI wiretap crackled to life. After weeks of surveillance, his patience paid off. Captain David Fuller's voice came through first. That FBI agent's digging too deep. Tell Morrison to keep quiet. I'll speak with Sterling. We'll take care of it. Adrien's pulse quickened. Moments later, another call. Judge Sterling. We'll make the evidence disappear. Just like before. Adrien removed the headphones slowly. They just confessed to obstruction and conspiracy, he told his supervisor, Peterson. We got them on tape. Federal warrants were approved within hours. The system that had buried complaints for years was finally exposed. The next morning, Adrien led a team into Judge Sterling's office. Sterling feigned innocence until Adrien laid the transcripts before him. In 6 years, you've dismissed 23 misconduct cases against Morrison, Adrien said. That's a 100% dismissal rate. The national average is 8. Sterling tried to argue, but Peterson cut him off. Judge Sterling, you are under arrest for obstruction of justice and conspiracy. By 6 a.m., Captain Fuller was in custody. Agents found shredded internal affairs files smoldering in his fireplace. Morrison was arrested later that morning at his precinct. He grinned until he saw Adrien. You, he muttered, face paling, in his cell. Morrison's lawyer broke the news. 20 years minimum. Federal charges. 23 victims. Wiretap evidence. Morrison asked, who's the lead agent? Adrien Jenkins. His jaw dropped. Same name as the guy I hit in court. He collapsed onto the bunk. I assaulted a federal agent's father. Morrison tried to plea. Adrien refused. This isn't about revenge, Adrien said. It's about justice for everyone he's hurt. Fuller took a plea deal. 8 years in federal prison. He agreed to testify. Sterling chose to fight. The trial became national news. Crowds filled the courtroom, watching a corrupt system finally face scrutiny. Theodore Jenkins took the stand, his voice calm and dignified. He described the slap, the humiliation, the quiet pain of being ignored. Then Maria Sanchez testified. She played the secret 2018 recording. I broke 3 of that animal's ribs, Morrison's voice crackled. These people need to learn who's in charge. The room fell silent. Finally, Adrien testified, presenting a damning case. He detailed the pattern of abuse, how Morrison assaulted minority citizens, Fuller buried every complaint, and Sterling shut every legal door. After 3 tense days, the jury returned. Guilty. 6 of 8 charges. Civil rights violations. Assault under color of law. Criminal conspiracy. Morrison was sentenced to 26 years. Sterling received 12. Fuller, per his deal, 8 that the Los Angeles Police Department was placed under federal oversight. Internal review panels were replaced. Dozens of new victims came forward. For the first time, their stories were heard. Adrien was promoted to regional supervisor. But the title wasn't the reward, justice was. Theodore received a $385,000 settlement from the city. But what mattered more was a letter he handed Adrien a year later. It was written in crayon. Dear Mr. Jenkins, thank you for making sure police officers can't hurt people anymore. My mom says you made the system work. I want to be like you when I grow up. Love, Emily, age 8, Adrien smiled. This is why we did it. Theodore nodded. That slap in court, it wasn't just about me. It was about all the times people like me were hurt and ignored. Adrien folded the letter and placed it in his drawer. The system only works if we make it work. if we don't stay silent. Outside, the world moved on. But inside that office, something had shifted. Not just a case closed, justice at last had been served.